Okay, so this guy's going back. See. They're just passing Finley's to the right up the hill there, and coming up to Nelson, which is what the street is called. And this is the funny thing, is like, recording this seems silly, but you know what? Like, it's like, so what if this Finley's guy pushed me, however, like, it wasn't hard. I kind of laughed it off because he was being a bit of a dickhead. And I left. That shouldn't affect my family, but it has. And I went for a nice walk that day in the rain. I had a really nice thought about go ahead. There was a beautiful lesson. This is the funny thing. The stuff that tends to consume after the fact is normally hiding a beautiful seed that was there, and I told my brother about this, and he was kind enough and patient enough to listen to me. He actually fell asleep on the phone at one point, as we were talking for so long, about sort of like how I feel well when I'm only putting natural foods in my body and that's it. Water, tea, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, dialing it back, there's so many vehicles that kind of don't have much going on for them anymore, and most of them are already built as something that you could retrofit pretty quickly. Put the seats down, let somebody like sleep in there. It solves this like people without homes issue really quickly. There's a perfect by the radio station there and the NDCC, there's a big gravel parking lot that's rarely used, and there's even more space for parking, including the space that would be taken up by these new homes. And the added bonus is they could have a contract with the homeowners to allow them to take control of their neighborhood and make sure there's no shenanigans going on while any of them are present, so they become sort of like representatives of the neighborhood and respected. They kind of work for their allowance for having a roof over their head, which I think is really beautiful. And, as far as that goes, maybe they take care of one another. They make sure that there's no need to call on anyone else because they are their brother's keeper, so to speak. Okay, sisters and everyone else, like, we're here on this, some people call it a spaceship, but it's a planet spiraling through space, and we all deserve our own space. Well, I think that the Starship Troopers writer, which it's based on, was right on the money, and I think both Napoleon and Plato would agree that giving someone a little bit of respect for themselves and their property and the people around them, their neighbors, not to say brother again, but to lean on your brother or sister, whether you're a sister or, doesn't matter what your title is. You don't need one. None of us do. But we should be able to chase our dreams. And you could even put like a stall there for people who wanted to, like if they were making jewelry or whatever it is that's one of their pastimes. I lived close to a wonderful artist who was able to do stuff that the community enjoyed. I still have a piece from someone who also lived outside with me. And I think that was part of the conundrum with this Rick or whatever his name was. The owner there, big fellow, who was caught on camera, and my mother saw the whole thing as well as my father in person. And it was just a stupid, like, I'm just standing somewhere, I'm dancing, I'm listening to music, I'm waiting for my dad who is on my, like, to the right of me here. There's people who saw the whole thing. And, like, nothing happened. And, like, it's like forgiving it in a way, but also, like, understanding that that's not really the way to conduct yourself around someone, even if you think that there's a class delineation that is, like, uncalled for or whatever else. I know there's misunderstandings and what have you, but especially for someone who sends their people to St. Joseph, my namesake, and like given the ST that's in front there, that stands for something. And if you're raising your children in that light, then I think that it's your due diligence as someone who very likely must, at the very least, respect the fact that Christian people have a right to send their children to institutions like this. And forgiveness is one of the things. The 11th commandment, something about your neighbor, I'm pretty sure, and the first one probably is about the same. Everything else in between is pretty much the same. So that's not a direct quote from Jesus, but I'm spitballing here. And the thing is, is like, I don't even know this stuff too well. I remember things quite well. I think that I'm lucky that way. I should write more things down, and I think I do at time to time. Get a notebook. I think I was even mute at the time, which is kind of funny. Like, I don't think that I need to be able to speak to maintain the fact that I should be safe pulling up with my father and going for a walk and standing and dancing somewhere. And that's it for me today, so thanks for your time.